Welcome everyone to today's webinar, View an OCI AI speech-to-text app using Visual Builder and functions. My name is Nikki Chen. I'm a marketing event manager for the developer initiative here at Oracle. And today we're excited to guide you through building a speech-to-text application using Oracle's powerful cloud services. If you have any questions during the webinar, please drop them in the Q&A area and they'll help us identify any unanswered questions. We have also set up a Slack channel, Cloud Coaching North America, in our developer workspace that you can access at the QR code or the link on the screen. This channel will remain open after the webinar for you to contact us directly if you have any questions. And before I pass it off to the presenters, I wanted to let you know that we have more amazing live webinars just like this one coming up. Today's webinar will be presented by Varun, Chenmai, and Sean. Without further ado, I'll pass it to Varun.
Hi everyone, welcome to today's webinar. I am Varun Yadav. I'm a senior cloud engineer here at Oracle. I'm part of Code Innovate team, and with me I have Chinmay and Sean. They will be helping with QA, and at the end we will present the Code Innovate program. So in today's webinar, I'll talk about like how to build an OCI AI speech to text app using Visual Builder and functions, and we will use few more services to do that. So this is the safe harbor statement, just to let you know, this is just for like demo purposes, not committing to anything. And I will quickly go through the agenda. So I'll present the architecture diagram for the use case. I'll talk about the services that we are using in this use case. And then I will jump to the demo, right? So I will show you how to create Visual Builder application and how to connect the different services and the overall flow for this use case. And at the end, we will do the Code Innovate program overview and a Q&A if you guys have any questions related to any of the services or any other technical questions related to this use case. So let's talk about the architecture diagram. I'll dive into each of the component and understand how they interact with each other. So on the left-hand side, we have Oracle Visual Builder. So it's a powerful low-code development tool. This service allows developer to rapidly create and deploy web and mobile application. It features a visual drag and drop interface that simplifies the development process. Visual Builder seamlessly integrates with Oracle SaaS and other third-party services, making it easier to connect various data source and API. On the right-hand side, we have Oracle Functions. So this service let you run code in response to event without worrying about the underlying infrastructure. It supports multiple programming language and scale automatically. Oracle function can be triggered by various events such as HTTP request, object storage event, or even messages from other Oracle Cloud infrastructure services, ensuring efficient and responsive processing. Now coming back to the little bit on the left, we have object storage. So object storage provides scalable, secure, and highly durable storage for various types of data. Object storage can store any data type, such as application log, backup, or large data set. It is ideal for storing and retrieving unstructured data and integrate well with other Oracle services. And now, just below the functions, we have Oracle Speech. So speech uses automatic speech recognition technology to provide a grammatically correct transcription. Speech handles low fidelity media recording and transcribe challenging recordings such as meeting or call center call. Using speech, you can turn files stored in object storage or a data set into exact, normalized, timestamped, and profanity filtered text. So these are all the services that we are going to showcase in today's use case. So with just a quick overview of each service, now let's talk about the flow of the use case itself. So let's say in this application, we are creating a web application using Visual Builder, where the user will upload the file. It can be a media file, so it can be either a video or the audio recording, and that file will be stored in the object storage. So we have created a bucket in the object storage that will store the media files. And once the file is uploaded, that object storage will trigger an event and that will invoke the function. So this Oracle function is simply calling the Oracle speech service, and it will pass the information from the object storage to the Oracle speech. So the Oracle speech will does it work and converts that media file into the transcript, right? So it will give us the response back into the JSON format that will have the text-based transcript and even other details like the individual text, individual letter-based timestamp and other metadata, right? So that will be helpful in terms of converting that into the transcribe. So once the data, the output data from the Oracle speech is stored back into the object storage, this time we will create another bucket to store that output, and that object storage will again trigger an event. And that event, this time we will call the function, and we have written the function in Python. So this Python function, what it will do is like simply take the output of what the OCI speech have generated, and then it will convert that into the transcribe like format. So if there are like multiple people talking in the recording, so we know like, okay, speaker one is talking for like, let's say first minute, and then if someone else is talking, we can get the timestamp information and the transcribe based interaction, as the output. So now this Python function generates the output as a text file, and we will store that information in the object storage bucket. So in total, we are creating 3 object storage bucket to store the information. And the last time when the Python function will generate the output, that object storage will again trigger an event. This time, this will be to upload the business object into the Visual Builder. So Visual Builder now will have the transcript. So we will be able to see the text in the Visual Builder. And if the user wants, they will be able to download that in the application as well. So that's kind of like the overall architecture diagram. And I'll show you the demo of how we can build this in the Oracle Cloud. So here, what you are seeing is my homepage for the Oracle Cloud tenancy. So I'll start with like showing you the application itself first. So I've created the application in the Visual Builder Cloud service. So to navigate to Oracle Visual Builder, I'll click on the menu, go to the developer services, go to the Visual Builder. Here I have it in my compartment. And I'll open the service homepage for this instance. And this is my application, right? And I'll run this application. So this is what the end user, they will interact with the application, right? So here they have an option to either select the file, drag and drop the file, and here there is a table which gives which shows the list of available recordings and the transcript, and the option to download the transcript as well. So if I click on Get Transcript, it will show me the text box with the information. This is one of the previous recording that we have on the YouTube channel. So as you can see, like, it says like, okay, speaker one, they're talking from this time to, start to end timestamp, and then other speaker, right? So Oracle speech gives us all this information based on like, the speaker, the timestamp for each letter. So we can use this. And even I have added the search functionality. So I can search in this text box. For example, if I want to search the word uploading, oops, and click search. So it will highlight that particular part in the text, right? So it's very simple application, and I'll show you how we can do that. So before I begin, let me just upload one file as a demo. So let me drag and drop that into the file picker. So now it is uploading that file in the object storage bucket. So if I go back to if I go back to my Oracle Cloud and go back to the menu, go to the storage, and there is a bucket, right? So in the buckets, I have created 3 buckets. So one is called the lightning talk. I'll open that up. And once this file is uploaded, you can see like it shows up over here as well, right? And if I go back to my object storage, you can see I have just uploaded this today is July 31st, and this is the timestamp, right? So now what's happening is like once this is created or uploaded in the bucket, right? In my object storage, we have a feature called emit object event, right? So that is enabled. So what happens is like whenever there is a modification or like addition in the bucket, the event will be triggered. So this event we can check in the rules. So let me search for event, and there is a rules event service. So as you can see, I have like few rules. I'll talk about like for example, the first one that is being triggered. And if I click on edit rule, so I have given a description of like, this event is triggered when the new object is added to the lightning talk bucket, right? And the conditions for the rule are very simple. So the event type itself is like object storage, and the event type is object create. So whenever there is a new object created, this event will be triggered. And the condition for this is like, check uh, attribute bucket name lightning talk, right? So you provide the value over here, like whatever the name of your bucket is. And then what we want to do, like we want to perform some kind of action with this. So we will trigger the or like invoke the action. So the action type will be of function. I'll choose my compartment and select the function that I want to call, right? So far it's simple. Like we are just uploading the file to the bucket. We are calling the event. That's pretty much it. And now if we talk about the function, right? Before I show you the function itself, I want to talk about the OCI speed service, right? So if I go back to my menu, click on the analytics and AI, and if I go to the speech, right? So speech service, it's very simple to create. It doesn't have like very complicated like input or anything like that. So as you can see, it's one of the job is already in progress that what we have uploaded in the Visual Builder application. But I will show you how we can create a new job for Oracle Speed Service. So if I click on create job, here you just provide a name for the job, description, compartment where you want to run this job, and the files that you want to generate the transcript, right? The speech to text. So you can provide the input text and you can select the output, whether you want to store the output file in the same bucket or whether you want to store the output file in a different bucket, right? And we have option to choose the model, right? So we have two models. One is Oracle and one is the Whisper model, right? So if you're familiar with like a Whisper model for generating the text, we have option for that, right? And there are multiple language option available. So with Oracle model, we have around like 10 or so, and with Whisper, I think it's like 50 plus option for the language, right? So you're not only restricted to just like one particular language. You can choose whatever language that you want to generate the text for, right? And it gives an option, additional option of like, whether you want the punctuation to be there or whether you want to generate the SRT transcript format. So let's say if you want to um, generate generate the transcript and then want to upload it as a subtitle, you can use the SRT transcript format. And one cool feature is like enable diarization. So when you do that, it will detect the number of speaker from the file itself, right? So let's say if multiple people are talking on it can be a recording or like, whatever file that you are using, it will auto detect the number of speaker. It can detect up to like 12 speaker, or now it's 16. So it can detect up to a 16 speaker. And if you already know upfront how many speakers, you know, you have in your recording, you can select, but if not, then it will do a auto detect feature, right? And we can also add filters like profanity and mode will be mask, remove, or tag, right? So if there is a certain word that comes up in the recording or in the transcript, we can either mask them, remove them, or even tag them, right? So creating the transcript job is very easy. So we can take a look at the one which we are just doing. So let me sort this by today. So as you can see, we have our job successfully created. So if I open this up and if I click on the name of the file, this is like the recording recording file. .mp4 is my recording format. And if I go down, you can see there is a transcript result, right? It gives me the plain text of like the transcript, right? I can select, download, copy, or whatever I want to do, right? And if I click on show JSON, this is what the actual transcript result is like, right? So here you can see it will give us all the metadata like time created, domain, language code, all the things, right? So down there we can see the transcript. This is in a text format, and below that, after the transcript, right? So it will take each and every word and will give us the information. Like, so it does the token base um, give us a token based output as well. So for the word hello, you can see the start time is 0.8, end time is 1.1, and it gives us the confidence, right? Like if based on the confidence, we can know like, okay, whether how confident the model feels the output is, right? So it does all the grammatization and all those things, right? And speaker index, we have enabled the diarization, so it gives us the speaker index for that particular word, right? So if I scroll down, maybe we can see after maybe like few words, some other speaker might be talking. Okay, so here you can see if someone else is speaking, the speaker index keep on gradually increasing, right? So if it's a back and forth conversation, you can see speaker index 0, 1, things like that. So this is all helpful information. So the reason for creating the Visual Builder application was like because we are getting the output in a simple text format, but we have all this information of like speaker index. We are getting the information about the start and end time of each token. So we can leverage this information and we can generate our own transcribe to know like, who is speaking and what are the timestamp in the video itself or the recording itself, right? And so now coming back to the functions, right? How we can create the function. So if I go to the, I think developer services and yeah, in function, there is the application, right? So I have few functions that I have created over here. So one is called speech to text. Here you can see the basic information. So I will not go through like creating each function, but it's very, very simple. From the UI also, you can create the application. And I have the function, right? I'll show you the source code for this function. I have written all the code in Python language, but you can write your code in, it can be Node.js or it can be Java. I believe Go.NET also is available. So you can write in any language that you feel confident in, right? So what I have shown you for the speech here, right? Like using the console, we have done the same thing via the function. So if I show you my code, so this is one of the function. So this is the Python code. And here we are simply getting the information from the object storage. So whenever the object storage triggers the event, this will give us the object name, bucket name, and other metadata that are related to that particular object in the bucket, right? So we are checking if whether the file format is like correct or not. If not, then it will just throw an error like saying like this object is not supported for the generating the transcript, right? And then I am using Oracle principal resource like for doing the authentication. And simply we are using the OCI SDK for leveraging these speech services. So if you are familiar with Python, we are using OCI AI speech and then whatever function or the method that we want to call, right? So here simply we are passing the compartment name. We are saying like we want to use the Whisper modem, Whisper medium. Domain will be generic, language will be English, and diarization we want to enable it so it's true. And we are providing the input location. So input location is nothing but our object storage bucket namespace and the bucket name, and even the object name, right? So object name we can fetch from the event itself. And output for this particular transcript will be stored in a different bucket, so we can provide all this information, right? And yeah, that's pretty much it, right? So once we have created our application, the function, we can simply deploy back to the Oracle Cloud Functions. And this is what we are seeing it over here, right? So if I click on the function itself, if I go to the matrix down here, you can see that our function was invoked. It's a very small dot. I don't know if I can show you maybe a little bit bigger over here, but let's see. There is a table view. So we can see like on July 31st, there is one invocation. And if I see last 7 days, maybe it will show you, it will give me the list of like, when it was invoked and how much time it took, like, the intervals and things like that. So it gives us all the different information. If there is any error, we can see it over here as well, right? And one more thing in the function that we can do is like, we can check the logs of the function. So let's say whenever the function is invoked, I can click on the logs. My log is enabled for this function, and this is my log name. So if I open up in the new tab, this will show the Oracle Cloud logging service where the logs are being stored. So I think it's been more than 5 minutes. So maybe let's do past hour. And as you can see, there are logs generated by this function. And it gives us a very detailed, detailed log. So we can see like, namespace, object, the bucket name, output location, all those things, right? So it gives us very detailed output as a log. So right now, everything went fine as we were expecting. But if there is any error, this is one of the good places to start with, right? Like to check whether it failed. If it's failed, then what's the log output, right? Then we can take it from there. And you can see there is a retention period of 1 month. We can change that from here, right? So now I have explained you like how the different services interact with each other, right? So just to recap so far what we have shown, first we are uploading the file. That file will be stored in the object storage bucket. That bucket will trigger an event, and that event will be invoking the function, and the function is simply calling the OCI speech service, and that will generate the output in a JSON format that will be stored in the separate bucket, right? So before showing like moving on to the let's say the second piece of this architecture or the flow, let me talk about the Visual Builder application itself, right? Like, because many of you will be interested in like how we can create this application. So this is my Visual Builder homepage. As you can see, like most of the things are drag and drop over here. So let's just give me a second. Okay. So over here, I'm using components like file picker. So all the components that you see over here are built into the Visual Builder service. So if I search for file picker, there is already a component for that. Down there, I'm using a table. So table is also one of the components that are available, things like that, right? So in Oracle Visual Builder, let's say this is my file picker. So what happens, like, what are the things that I want to configure? So I click on my file picker component in the canvas, and in the properties, I can click on the event. And if I click on the action chain, because whenever we upload or click, things like that, we need to perform some kind of event, or like it generates the event and we want to do an action, right? So here, my file picker action, what it does is like simply it opens up a dialog box saying like, it's uploading, and it is calling the object storage API, right? So object storage API, how we can configure that. So in Visual Builder, there is an option for service connection, and I have created one, which I can show you. If I go to the endpoint detail, for example, there is a get many, and I can go to the test tab, right? So if you have Oracle Cloud documentation, we have the list of all the APIs available for all the different services. This is one for the object storage. So I'm providing my namespace, bucket name, and the object, right? If I click on send request, it will give me list of all the objects that are in my bucket, right? So simply you can create the endpoint, and I have created multiple endpoint over here. One is to get all the information in that particular bucket. and another one to upload the file, right? So I want to upload whatever the user wants to put in the bucket. So here I'm doing a put request, and then the last one is for like getting a single object, right? So to get the single object information, I'm using the uh, object name, sorry, single object API, right? So I can create multiple APIs like this. So if I go back to my application over here, I'll close this tab. So in the action chain, first step is to upload the object. So I'm using the put API. I'm passing the object name over here. That is coming, that information I'm getting from the file that user is uploading, right? And in the body, I'm simply passing that particular file that user have uploaded. So after the response is 200, like, so 200 says like the response is success, it is success. So if it's successful, I am storing that information again in a business object, which I will show you in a second. And I am refreshing my table to show that information that the file is uploaded, whatever the files are there in the object storage into the table. So if I go to the page designer, this is my table. So I only have one file as of now, but if you have multiple files, it will be shown over here. So I think we already uploaded one more, so I didn't refresh it, but if I click on reload, it should show two files, right? So I'm getting this information from the get many, list of all the objects in the bucket. Okay. So in the action, I was talking about the business object, right? Like business object is nothing but like a table that I have created in the Visual Builder, right? You can think of it like storing on the client side, right? I'm not using any server to store those data. The reason why I'm doing this, right? So it's a very simple. First of all, I'll show you the table itself. It's very simple. I'm storing the file name, file path, and the transcript path, right? So you can see the file path is stored over here with the exact URL of the file. So we can fetch that information, and the transcript path whenever the transcript is generated. The reason for doing that is because let's say whenever I upload a file, it takes like maybe let's say 30-second, minute or 2 minute, depending on the file size. Because if you let's say upload a 4-hour recording, it won't be like quick, right? It might take a minute or two to generate the transcript for that. So let's say when the output is created, we want to show that information, right? So to do that, Visual Builder needs to know like, okay, now the transcript is ready. We want to show that information, right? So that's why we are leveraging the business object, and that's how the table is being, connected. So whenever there is a transcript, it will show the download button. If there is no transcript, it won't show the button, right? And to check that, I am using the timed event component. So that is nothing but, I have a refresh interval of like 60 seconds over here. So every 60 seconds, it will just refresh the table. I can, make the interval small. Let's say I can do it like every 5 seconds or, 20 seconds, 30 seconds, whatever you want it to be, right? And if you really want to extend the use case, what you can do is like maybe add another component for like sending out the notification. So you can use Oracle email delivery service to do that. And if you're using any other middleware, you can also try sending out the email to the user saying like your transcript is ready, and you can go check the portal, or even you can send the link for the downloading from there as well. But I have not done in this particular use case, right? So um, yeah, I was talking about like file picker component. Now we have uploaded the file in the bucket. We are refreshing the table, how we are storing the table, how we are storing the data into the table itself, right? So the second piece of this use case, if I go back to my diagram real quick. So we have the output in the object storage. Now this output is in a JSON format, right? As I was talking about. So we want to generate the text-based output from this. So whenever the output is stored in the second bucket, this will again trigger the event, and we'll invoke another function. This time the function is simply a Python script, which will convert that JSON into the text format, into the transcribe, and that will store back into the object storage once again. right? So I'll show you first of all the output where it is stored. So I have something called lightning talk transcript, and here you can see this is the output that is being stored from the OCI speech. So if I expand, because I don't know the job ID, I'll do a few of them. Okay, here is one, July 31st, and you can see I have added like prefix to this. So this is the JSON file, right? And if I want, oops. So if I want, I can see the object details over here, and it gives me the name, path URL for this particular object, right? And all the metadata response, right? So this kind of response, this response header and all the details, metadata that are being passed to the function as well. So now my output is over here. It's in a JSON format. I will show you again how the JSON output looks like. So for that, I will quickly go to the speech service, go to my job, and here I'll click on show JSON, right? So this is my output. I have transcript. I have like each token, and it gives me the speaker index and the start time and the end time, right? So now with the this response stored in this particular bucket, this bucket also triggers the event and call my function. So I'll show you what the function actually looks like. So I have that in my local IDE. If I go to the function over here, um, uh, I'm getting the details of the object and the bucket, right? So with that information, what I'm doing is I'm getting the current speaker index, start time, end time, and looping through that each token, right? So I'm checking like whether the speaker index has been changed or not. If the speaker index is same, then we are just keep on assigning that to a particular paragraph or the sentence, right? And whenever the speaker index has been changed, we are generating a new line and storing the start time and the end time for that particular duration the speaker is talking about. So the script itself is very simple. It's not very complicated, and overall, whenever this function is done, the output of that the function is stored in the variable that we are giving it as an output, right? So as an output, what we are doing, we are creating a text file with the suffix underscore transcript.txt at the end, and I'm trying to upload that into the object storage bucket, right? So I have created a third bucket just to store the text file based on the transcript that we are getting from the OCI speech, right? So let's say this is successfully, the function is run, and I can see my output in the third bucket, which is called lightning talk transcript text, right? Over here, I can see that. So if I go down, so this is my text file. I can click on three dots, view object detail, and it gives me the name and the path for it, right? And when it's uploaded or like last modified, things like that. So now we have the, let's say, the output, right? Like this is the final, basically the output. This is a text file that we want. But the problem that I was talking about, right? Like, so we have our output, everything is good, but the problem is like, how do we show that on the, in the application on the Visual Builder application? So that's why we had that business object, and the bucket which contains the text file will generate an event which will upload this particular business object. And business object, good thing about the business object is like, it gives us the, um, sorry, my bad. This is over here. Good thing about the business object is like it gives us the powerful APIs, right? So you can see like there is a CRUD operation we can do on the business object. But other than that, if I expand resource API, I have three different APIs based on like, development, staging, or live, if you are using, whatever the version of the application that you're using. So I'm using right now the development, and this is my API, right? So using this particular API, I can perform any of the CRUD operations on this table. So I have created one more Python function. This third function, what it does is like simply calls this development API and do a post method or the update method to update the transcript path. So whenever the transcript is ready, it will upload, update this transcript path field in the table. And once it's there, our application is like, refreshing every 60 seconds. If it's there, it will show the download and the get button over here. If it's not successful, it will wait for that, whenever there is an availability of the transcript, it will just show up over here. Okay. So I will show you what that function looks like. So if I click on that function, again, we are getting the object name and the bucket name from the object storage bucket details. And now what we are doing is like simply we are getting the file name over here because we want to kind of like, get the information for that particular file. Because if I show you, go back to my Visual Builder data, right? So my original file name is, for example, this is the short one, right? Video playback.mp4. And you can see the transcript file is like, it's like suffixed with the bucket detail and the, at the end we have transcript.txt, right? So we want to match the correct information. So video playback is the correct information. Like, so it's, we want to get the exact file name for that. So in my function, I'm getting the file name, and then I'm simply updating that business object with the correct data, right? So to do that, I need to pass username, password. There are more sophisticated way to do this. So if you are using Oracle OCI Vault, you don't need to hard code the values over here. You can pass it dynamically in your function. But for this, demo application, I have pass it, hard coded the value over here. And I'm simply calling my business object API and passing the, the data, the transcript path data. So you can see like transcript path, object name, that's it, right? So this final function will update that field in my business object, and that's how, my output will be shown over here, right? So a few more things related to the Visual Builder itself. For example, let's say over here, I'm using the text box, right? This is not out of the box text box available in the Visual Builder. And the reason for using third-party text box is, right, because I want to perform the search, right? This makes things easy for me. So there is a JavaScript library called Code Mirror that's what I'm using it over here. And in my application, what I have done is like, if I go to my home, like the parent application, and go to the HTML, I have imported that library using the CDN. So you can see the Code Mirror CSS JavaScript, and there is add-on for the search functionality. That's what I'm using. So if I go back to my homepage, and I have written few JavaScript to initialize that. So whenever user enters this application, it is first initialized. And whenever we have the output, for example, if I click on the get transcript, right? So it shows the output. So to do that, in my hyperlink, there is an event which first of all fetches the data from the object storage itself. This is where we are using the get one object, and this is I'm passing the object name over here, right? And this will give me the output with the text file itself, and I'm parsing the text file into my JavaScript. And behind the scenes, I'm taking care of like Code Mirror, setting up the text box and all those things. And in my page designer, if I go to the live view and search something, right? So whenever there is a search, there is a search button action chain, which will simply take the query parameter of the search text. And in my JavaScript, I'm using the Code Mirror functionality to find all, right? So it will place a cursor and highlight those parts. So for example, which I was showing up over here, If I search for uploading, it will highlight all the words that occur in that particular text, right? So this is very helpful because obviously not anyone is going to go through like I mean like if it's a really huge transcript, not everyone is going through the whole part, but you can just search for what you are looking for, right? Um, so that's I think pretty much the demo that I wanted to go through. I know this is like really overwhelming in terms of like in the use case if you have never used Oracle Cloud before, but there are Oracle Live Labs which are available and the online material as well for how to create Visual Builder application, how to use Oracle function, and documentation is always your best friend in terms of like getting started, right? And one more thing I want to mention, if you are still listening, so I have created a GitHub repository with all the source code. So if you are interested to try the same application in your tenancy, you can download the source code for this for this application. And I think Nikki will share that in the chat as well, right? So I will show you what the oops, just give me a second. Copy and yeah, so this repository have all the functions which I have shown you in my IDE. And if you go to the any of the function.py in the Angular brackets, I have highlighted what you want to replace with, right? So you want to replace the namespace, uh, you want to replace the API for this particular function, and in the transcribe, I think here you only want to replace maybe a single thing over here. Oh, this one doesn't need, I think, any replacement, right? But you can take a look if it's an Angular bracket. I'm specifying like what you want to replace. So compartment OCID, things like that. And Visual Builder application itself is over here. So it's a zip file. How you can import that? It's very easy. If you go to the homepage of Visual Builder, click on import, click on application from file, and drag and drop that application. You can see the source code for that application, right? And once you have uploaded the application itself, or like imported the application, uh, things that you want to modify, right? So here in the service connection, right now it has my credential. This is not exported with the application. So you want to configure your own credentials over here. So go to the backend, click on object storage, go to the server, click on this pencil icon, replace this URL with your own object storage URL. And authentication is using Oracle Cloud Infrastructure API Signature 1.0. And you can pass the key ID, and I think it requires the private key and the fingerprint, OCID tenancy, user OCID fingerprint, right? So I think it's in the documentation of the how to connect object storage REST API, right? So these are the only modification that you need to do. And yeah, you can play around with this application. And if you want to improvise, you can always do that, right? So just to keep in mind, the demonstration we have done is like not perfect or production ready. This is more like to just to show the core concept and the functionality. So there is always the scope for improvement and optimization. I hope this demo is helpful in some way, and you got to learn about like different Oracle Cloud services, how we can interact with other services, and create an application, right?
One moment here. I will share my screen. We'll get started. So first and foremost, I just want to take a moment to thank you all for taking some time out of your day to attend our presentation and demonstration. So as Nikki said in the beginning, my name is Sean Cartwright. I'm a senior cloud engineer and a program manager here at Oracle. And I wanted to take a few minutes to tell you a little bit about a program that Varun, Chinmay, and I have been a part of for going on about 4+ years now here at Oracle. And we work for a team known as Code Innovate. So to explain our program, I liken it to an activity that our director would do most every year with his kids when they were a little bit younger. So he'd take his kids on a trip to Legoland amusement park. And out of all the attractions and activities at Legoland, their favorite thing to do is to participate in something called the Lego Master Builder class. So out of all the attractions and activities, the adults in the front of the room, pictured in the top right-hand corner in green polo shirts, were known as true Lego master builders. So during this class, all the kids were given their own clear plastic bag of disassembled Lego pieces without any instructions, much like you typically find in Lego sets that you buy in the stores for your own kids. So and over the course of the event, they work with the kids on the concept of brick interlocking and how to create smooth faces on objects using Lego pieces. So on this particular day, they learned to build these little penguins with earmuffs that you see on the bottom right-hand corner. So the goal of the class was first and foremost for these kids to have fun. However, in a very short amount of time, they learned to build with Lego pieces in a creative environment using techniques that they were taught by true experts. So we tell that story because, I mean, in what we believe in the simplest form is that's what we kind of do here, and we try to emulate at the Code Innovate program. So what it is a 5 half-day online event on Zoom, and it's designed to educate builders, customers like yourselves on Oracle Cloud while producing a first pass prototype on your selected business challenges. So over the course of the week, participants from your teams are paired with an Oracle engineer to guide them through best practices and co-development. So like developing together intensively with our team. So during this time, you're going to brainstorm on your business challenge that you've identified. You're going to identify different tasks to complete, and you're going to partner with us to develop a minimally viable product or an MVP, or like what we call a first pass prototype. So whether you're a novice, and I know about half of you in the audience today said that this is the first time that you're seeing Oracle Cloud, or you've never really had a chance to experience it for yourself and get hands-on, this is a great opportunity, I think, for a lot of our customers that Oracle provides, that we allow you a place where you can get hands-on and get over-the-shoulder guidance from people like Varun, Chinmay, and myself over the course of the 5 days out of the week. So that you could start actually seeing some of your use cases that are critical to your business, getting at least prototyped out, creating a demo, at least some, getting you a little bit of a jump start in getting you on your journey into hopefully getting into Oracle Cloud and utilizing a lot of our services. So the way that we do that is we ask that you bring us your use case ideas, and we're going to work together through a structured planning process over the course of at least 3 weeks to qualify your use case and get the necessary resources aligned from each of our organizations so that we can create a prototype during the event week itself. During this structured planning time, there's typically weekly meetings and check-in sessions where we discuss the use case, logistics for the event. We show you, similar to what Varun just showed you today, we would show you demonstrations on some of these various services that would encompass your entire use case build, whether it happens to be AI services or other services in Oracle Cloud, to give you sort of a baseline awareness of those different tool sets that you'd be using during the event. So it's not the first time you're seeing them when you get to the event week itself. So we would give you demonstrations ahead of time so that you'd be more familiar with what they look like and how they function and the features and so on. And the way that we do this Code and Innovate process is that we use cloud coaching, which essentially is us guiding you over the shoulder. So it's you guys sharing from your desktops, and you're moving the mouse and keyboard and clicking on the console and working within the products and doing the development stuff. But think of us like your passenger, seat, companion, and guiding you along as you're the one in the driver's seat, so to speak. So a point that I'd like to make is that our program does not only focus on Oracle AI service use cases. In this case, as Varun showed you today, AI speech to text. We support many different builds with a lot of different infrastructure and platform services on the Oracle Cloud, including cloud native services like Oracle Kubernetes Engine, Docker, and creating CI/CD pipelines in the OCI DevOps platform or in the Visual Builder Studio platform, which is like a companion product to Visual Builder Cloud Service, which you saw today from Varun's demonstration. We support Oracle Analytics Cloud, which is an enterprise analytics platform, OCI Data Science, and AI services for more of those intensive machine learning, Python, R-related use cases. Oracle Digital Assistant, which is our chatbot platform, Oracle Integration Cloud, which includes, it's like a family of products, including Visual Builder Studio, which is a CI/CD platform, and Visual Builder Cloud Service, which is your mobile-enabled web apps sort of platform, MWA, and many other services. This isn't by any means a comprehensive, exhaustive list of all the services that are offered, but I'm hoping that because a lot of you guys are new to cloud, hopefully this is starting to spark some ideas in your minds about some things that we could potentially partner together on. And there are infinite resources within Oracle to learn about all these different services and to get more familiarized, because I know this might be overwhelming after seeing Varun's demonstration on 3 different products and how they all fit together. So definitely take your time, go through this material, go back and watch this recording today, kind of soak it in, because it's, this is what we do like every day, day in and day out. So sometimes it's, it's a little bit more familiar to us than it might be to you. So please, we'll kind of work at your pace here. And so, like I said, I make this point because our webinars are typically focused on maybe one service or a set of features within a service, but our team is capable of resourcing specialists not only from within our direct team, but also our larger enablement organization to meet your needs to kind of, staff these events that we do. Everything that our team works on is a custom built prototype, tailor fit to your use case that you guys bring us. So, just a few requirements that we ask for the events that we do. We ask for 4 more developers or builders at the event. We use that term sort of developer kind of loosely, as they can be also business users or end users who like to be involved in the brainstorming process, the build process, or even to see the end product itself once the event is over and we do our final presentation. Anyone who wants to build in the cloud is welcome to attend, to whatever capacity they'd like, but it's good to have at least 4 developers hands-on keyboard at any given time throughout the week in each of the groups. We ask for a 20-hour time commitment, which roughly translates to 5 consecutive half days for 4 hours each day. We ask that you bring your use cases because we want to work on things that you guys want to work on. Like I said, it doesn't necessarily have to be AI, although that's what most of you came here today to learn. But there are a plethora of other services. And most often, it's not just one service that we use to build out a prototype, because a use case isn't necessarily boxed into one service necessarily. So it could be a combination of services like Varun showed you today, whether that's using a function in Visual Builder Cloud Service, using object storage, and using the actual speech component of AI services itself. So it could be a multitude of different services combined into an ultimate end product, prototype. So, and then we also ask for 3 weeks of lead time. That just ensures that we get the correct resourcing for both of our teams. And we have formal cadence meetings, as I said, leading up to the event, so that we have proper use case discovery, planning, everything's coordinated, and that your team is fully aware of what the expectations are for the event, the agenda, and what the outcome, will ultimately be. And last but not least, there's no fee to the event beyond the time commitment for both of our teams and the cost of the cloud services that you consume to build out the use cases itself, whether that be in your own OCI tenancy if you have one, or in a trial tenancy of a sort that can be converted to a proper tenancy after the event is over. That's essentially what I wanted to share with you guys today. So if you'd like to chat in with your name and your email address, if you're interested in this, please put your name in the chat. Our email address is down at the bottom there. It's codeinnovate_us_grp@oracle.com. And I've also taken the liberty now, this QR code is active as of right now. When I added it to the presentation deck, it might not be active forever when you go back and watch this recording later on, but you can hit this QR code here and you can see we have an Oracle, we have a YouTube playlist. It's under the channel of Oracle developers on YouTube, and we've kind of aggregated all of the videos that our team has put together. People very much like Varun and Shima have created a lot of different videos on different topics, on some things that are very real use cases that we've done sort of anonymized in the past, and other things that are typical patterns that we see with a lot of customers that we think you guys would be interested in. So that's what I have. So you have take any further questions, I know we're here at the top of the hour, and I'll hand it back to Nikki to wrap up. But I appreciate your time today.
Well, thank you for your time to be here with us today. I wanted to close it up with couple more links. If you like today's session, we'd love to invite you to come back for our future event just like this one. And also love to hear your feedback and what topic of us you'd like us to cover in the future. With that, I'll go ahead and close today's session. Hope to see you soon in the future.